Hello everyone, welcome back to AeroHub and welcome to the series of lectures in flight mechanics. And in this lecture we will see about airspeed and the principle behind airspeed measurement as well as the types of airspeed. As you can see, the definition of airspeed. Airspeed is nothing but the speed of an aircraft relative to air. Okay, so to understand the principle of airspeed measurement, first heading is principle of airspeed measurement. Okay, to understand the principle of airspeed measurement, you need to know something called Bernoulli's principle. Okay, so you are aware that by Bernoulli's equation, we have derived this earlier, that is P plus half rho v square is equal to a constant. Okay, this is the Bernoulli's equation and this is equation number 1. And this term is called static pressure and this term is called dynamic pressure. Okay, so static pressure is nothing but local pressure of air. Local pressure of air. Okay, and dynamic pressure is nothing but it is a pressure concerned with flow speed. Okay, so this is the two type of pressure and the summation of static pressure plus dynamic pressure is equal to constant, and this constant is called total pressure. Okay, now we have an important term, that is, you have to understand, if the velocity is decreased, okay, if the flow is decreased, if the flow velocity is decreased, okay, now what happens here? When the flow velocity decreases, the dynamic pressure, that is half rho v square, will be decreasing. Dynamic pressure, and this is denoted by small letter q. This will be decreasing. Okay, this means that, so to keep the equation number 1, to keep this equation number 1 in balance, when the dynamic pressure is decreasing, the static pressure will be getting increased. Okay, you have to understand, when the dynamic pressure is getting decreased, the static pressure will be getting increased. That is to keep the equation in balance. The static pressure must increase. Okay, the static pressure must increase. Okay, so whenever we have a decrease in dynamic pressure, the static pressure will be getting increased. Now we have a case when the velocity is becoming 0. That is, if we bring the flow to rest, that is, we are bringing the velocity to 0. If we are bringing the flow to a rest, at some point the static pressure will be having the maximum value. Okay, when we decrease the velocity to 0, that is, we are bringing the flow to rest, the static pressure will be having the maximum value. Okay, the static pressure will be having maximum value, and this maximum value of static pressure is called stagnation pressure. This maximum value of static pressure is called stagnation pressure. Okay, therefore I can rewrite this equation number 1 as static pressure plus dynamic pressure will be equal to stagnation pressure. I can denote the equation number 1 as static pressure plus dynamic pressure is equal to stagnation pressure. I put as equation number 2. Okay, now this is the basic principle of airspeed measurement. We can see that in dynamic pressure we have the term half rho v square. We have the term of velocity. Okay, so if I can find out the difference between stagnation pressure, which is the maximum static pressure, and static pressure, I'll be getting the dynamic pressure. From dynamic pressure I can find out the value of airspeed. Okay, from the dynamic pressure I can get the value of velocity if we are aware about the density, and density I can get from the international standard atmospheric table. Okay, so finally I can write dynamic pressure is equal to, that is stagnation pressure minus static pressure. I will write here because of less space. Stagnation pressure minus static pressure is equal to dynamic pressure. I will write as Q. Okay, this is nothing but half rho v square. Okay, if we measure the dynamic pressure, we can easily get the value of, from dynamic pressure, half rho v square, I can get the value of v, that is the velocity or the airspeed, if the value of density, and density is known. If density is known, and density I can find out from international standard atmosphere. Okay, this is the basic principle of airspeed measurement. Now we have to understand how will you measure the stagnation pressure and static pressure. Okay, to measure stagnation pressure we need a device called pitot tube, and to measure static pressure we need a device called static tube. Okay, we will see that now. As I mentioned earlier, to measure the dynamic pressure we need a device called pitot tube, and to measure static pressure we need a device called static tube. As you can see, a pitot tube, it is a simple tube in which one end is open, this end is open, and the other end is connected to a pressure measuring device. Okay, this exit is closed and this exit is blocked here. Exit is blocked. This exit is blocked. Okay, and at this point the pressure measuring device will measure the pressure. Okay, what is happening here? The air will enter at a particular velocity, and at the exit of this pitot tube the air will be brought to rest. Okay, that is, we are making the velocity of the air to 0, and we will measure the stagnation pressure here. Okay, so to measure stagnation pressure, this I will write here, air is brought to rest at the exit. Okay, at the exit the air is brought to rest. Okay, and here at the exit we will measure the stagnation pressure. Okay, at exit we will measure stagnation pressure. Okay, so pitot tube is mainly used to measure the stagnation pressure, not dynamic pressure. I think I have mentioned as dynamic pressure. It's not correct. It is nothing but pitot tube is mainly used to measure the stagnation pressure. Okay, and now to measure the static pressure is nothing but the local pressure of the air. Okay, for example, I have an aircraft here, and this is in a steady level flight, and this is the free stream velocity. It is going like this. It will be going like this. This is the streamlines. Okay, this is goes like this, and we will make sure that the pressure, local pressure at the free stream somewhere here should be equal to the local pressure at the surface of the aircraft. Okay, we have to find a way in such a way that the local pressure at the free stream should be equal to the local pressure at the some part of the aircraft. Okay, here in the case of static tube, the both end are closed. Okay, in the case of pitot tube, one end is open, other end is closed. In the case of static tube, both the end are closed. Okay, and we have something called static vent. It's like a small holes. It's a small holes, and at this hole the air will be coming here and the pressure is measured. Okay, the air won't enter inside the hole. Okay, just through this hole we can get the value of pressure. Okay, the hole will not here. This is the hole. The hole will not impinge or impede. That is, the hole inside the hole, the air is not entering. Will not impede the flow of air. Okay, that means the air is not entering to this hole. Okay, it is also called static vent or tapping. So the pressure measured will be the local static pressure. Okay, so these are the two devices through which we can measure the stagnation pressure as well as the static pressure, and static tube is mainly used to measure the static pressure. Okay, now the difference between stagnation pressure and static pressure gives the value of dynamic pressure, and this will lead to the measurement of airspeed. Okay, for nowadays in the early half of the aviation we have separate pitot tube and static tube. Now also we have aircraft which using separate pitot tube and static vent. Okay, in the case of aircraft which is using separate pitot tube and static tube, this static vent or tapping will be near the wing root of the fuselage. Okay, and the pitot tube will be at the wing tip or at the nose. Okay, and we have to measure separately the stagnation pressure and static pressure, and it should be connected to a single device to get the difference. Okay, but we have a device called pitot static tube. Okay, we have a device called pitot static tube, and I think you are aware about that. And from this tube we can guess the value of dynamic pressure, and from this dynamic pressure I can calculate the value of airspeed of the aircraft. Okay, so now we will see about pitot static tube. You can see the diagram of pitot static tube here, and this pitot static tube consists of two concentric tubes. You can see this inner tube is the pitot tube, and the outer tube which is closed at the one end and the other end is called static tube, and this combination is called pitot static tube. Once again I repeat, we have two concentric tube and this inner tube is the pitot tube. The air is coming through this tube and will be entering the tube and goes to the pressure chamber. Similarly, the air will stuck to this static vent. Okay, the air won't go inside the static vent, and this pressure will be measured to the static chamber. Okay, once again I repeat, the air will not be going through the static vent. Okay, the air will stuck here and it won't go inside because the hole is very, very small. Okay, and it can measure the value of pressure at the one end or through the pressure measuring device, and this two pressure calculations we will get, and from the difference I will be getting the value of dynamic pressure. Okay, we will get stagnation pressure from the pitot tube, and we will get the static pressure from the static tube, and we will get the direct reading of dynamic pressure as pressure difference between these two dial gauges. Okay, so this is a basic example, basic construction of pitot static tube. We have two concentric tube. It consists of two concentric tubes. The inner one is pitot tube and it measures stagnation pressure. Then the outer one is static tube. It measures what? Static pressure. And this entire apparatus will give the difference between stagnation pressure and static pressure, and this difference will give the value of dynamic pressure, that is stagnation pressure minus static pressure gives the value of dynamic pressure Q. Okay, as a definition of stagnation pressure, you can say that it is nothing but the pressure measured at a point when the flow is brought to rest isentropically. Okay, I repeat, stagnation pressure means the pressure measured at a point when the flow is brought to rest isentropically. Okay, if you are considering an airfoil, I think you have studied in aerodynamics 1 or basic aerodynamics. The flow will come here and at this point somewhere here, okay, at this point here the flow will go like this. I point here, somewhere here, the velocity becomes 0, and that point is called stagnation point, and the pressure measured is called stagnation pressure. Okay, now to measure the value of airspeed, you are aware about something called air speed indicator. Okay, this is the device which is used to measure the airspeed, and basically the principle behind airspeed indicator is the pitot static tube. Okay, and the pitot static tube is will measure the value of dynamic pressure. The pitot static tube will measure will measure dynamic pressure. Okay, and one of the important thing you have to understand that this pitot static tube is mounted. It is mounted at wing tips or at nose of the aircraft. Okay, and the pitot static tube is calibrated. You have to understand, we have the value of Q. The end result of measurement of airspeed indicator is the dynamic pressure, and Q is equal to half rho V square. We have a term of density, and the pitot static tube, this instrument is calibrated. Okay, and you are also aware that the value of density is varying throughout the atmosphere. So we need to calibrate the pitot static tube. So the pitot static tube is calibrated on the standard sea level. Calibrated in standard sea level value. Sea level value of air. Okay, this is the calibration of pitot tube. This means that this pitot static tube, the pitot static tube does not gives true airspeed. Okay, this is an important point. The main thing is the airspeed indicator is calibrated based on the density at the standard sea level. That is, we will consider the value of rho is equal to 1.225 or 1.23 kilogram per meter cube. Okay, this is the basic calibration value of density. Okay, but you are aware that the density will be decreasing when there is an increase in altitude. Therefore, the pitot static tube will not give the true measurement of airspeed. Okay, so we will try to analyze the different types of speed and we'll arrive at an expression through which we can find out the value of true airspeed. Now we will see about different types of airspeed and how we will measure the true airspeed. Okay, first type is called indicated airspeed. Indicated airspeed is also called IAS. Okay. And one of the important thing you have to understand, the speed indicated by airspeed indicator is called airspeed indicator reading. Okay, the speed indicated by airspeed indicator is called airspeed indicator reading. Airspeed indicator reading, that is called ASIR. Okay, that is the speed indicated by airspeed indicator is called airspeed indicator reading. Okay, and one of the important factor is there are different types of error for an instrument, and the airspeed indicated reading corrected for instrument error is called indicated airspeed. The airspeed indicated reading corrected for instrument error. Instrument will be having a certain error. Instrument error is called indicated airspeed. Okay, this is the basic definition of indicated airspeed. Next one is called calibrated airspeed. Calibrated airspeed. You are aware about the static pressure, and static pressure is nothing but the pressure at the local pressure of the air. Okay, and it is always important to find out the position at which we have to attach the pitot static tube. Okay, especially the position of static vent. Okay, that is the local pressure at the free stream of the aircraft should be equal to the local pressure at the static vent. Okay, that is very difficult to find out the position of the point at which the static pressure which is equal at the free stream of the aircraft and the static pressure which should be same for the at the position of the aircraft is very difficult to find out. So the indicated airspeed calibrated for position error. This is mainly for static pressure. I repeat, the indicated airspeed calibrated for position error is called CAS. Called calibrated airspeed. I repeat, when the position of static vent is difficult or it is not possible to find out. Okay, so we will calibrate the air for position error, that is called calibrated airspeed. Okay, we'll calibrate the airspeed for position error, that is called calibrated airspeed. And one of the important airspeed is equivalent airspeed. EAS. Okay, we have the equation half Q is equal to half rho V square. Okay, this Bernoulli's equation is valid for, it applies to low speed. Okay, this is applied only for low speed. Okay, when the aircraft is flying above 200 miles per hour, or you can say 104 knot. Okay, 200 miles per hour, it is necessary to apply a correction for compressibility. Okay, that is below 200 miles per hour, we will assume that the air is incompressible. Okay, above this 200 miles per hour, we have to include the correction factor for compressibility. Okay, and the calibrated airspeed corrected for compressibility is called equivalent airspeed. The calibrated airspeed corrected for compressibility is called equivalent air speed. Okay, now we will analyze the last one, that is the true airspeed. Okay, so from the measurement of airspeed indicator, we got the value of dynamic pressure, that is half rho V square, and we have seen that the airspeed indicator is calibrated for sea level condition density. Okay, the airspeed indicator is calibrated for sea level condition density. Okay, so to find out true airspeed is nothing but the actual speed of the aircraft relative to undisturbed air. air surrounding the aircraft. Okay, so true airspeed is equal to is nothing but equivalent airspeed divided by root of sigma. Okay, and this sigma is nothing but relative density. Okay, relative density is nothing but density of sea level condition divided by density of air at a certain height. Okay, so for problems and all we will use this equation. True airspeed is equal to equivalent airspeed divided by root of sigma. Okay, for example, at an aircraft at sea level is having a landing speed of 1000 meter per second. Okay, so they are asking to find out the landing speed at 8000 meter. Okay, so what we have to do, it is nothing but we have to find out the density at 8000 meter, then we have to divide the density of 8000 meter with respect to the density of sea level condition, then we have to use this equation. Okay, so that's nothing but sigma is nothing but rho of 8000 meter divided by rho of sea level. Okay, this gives the value of sigma, and from this value you will get the value of true airspeed. True airspeed is nothing but equivalent airspeed by root of sigma. Okay, and that's all about this lecture. We will discuss about what is airspeed and measurement of airspeed as well as types of airspeed, and in the upcoming lecture we'll discuss about airfoil and its types. Okay, that's thank you so much for listening. Take care.